Conclusion. For any children who watch these videos who I nannied for in the past, after I'm dead and gone, thank gosh. Hopefully sooner rather than later, to not have to apply to graduate school anymore, to not try to learn how to heal instead of listening and observing and watching and knowing. Hit stop. Check your awareness to make sure some creepy man isn't standing next to you with a science fiction novel and a paper that he says means he can do whatever the fuck he wants. And then tell his mistress, lover, girlfriend, gender-neutral companion, partner, to jump off a bridge and go visit the devil who hits the wall and whispers and uses their voice to suffocate and destroy their enemy, their target, their victim, like a snake with a rat, a rodent, in the desert with cactus and plants in Arizona. Language, logic, mathematics, and someone's recipe for some LSD. The correct time to dry mushrooms, and how much crack can you smoke before you gotta go buy some fentanyl to not be panicked and worried you're gonna starve to death, you're gonna die and suffer from that thug gangster dominant listener observer watching and seeing where everyone goes with their colors they wear, they call culture, ethnicity and race, and their tribalism, primitive indigenous right to slaughter and murder and kill those who don't want to sit in their prisons and their jails and get fucked in the ass by those men they call homosexuals, with all of those letters included in the logic for the freedom they have to have sex with whoever they want and be whoever they want now, regardless of where they poop, where they take a piss, and where they curl up and wait for their next attack on someone, on somebody who they call racist, in a philosophical, theoretical enigma now. 1 + 1 = 2. X plus dy divided by 5y = e to the x. Visualizing, in other words, living in your brain and seeing a world you claim has validity, honor and courage and respect, extravagance and mysterious creatures called minions, and logic mixed together are what the 60s and 70s brought to now in 2021 with tents downtown and no economics and nowhere to go except free services, free dollars, and a new currency called Bitcoin, to buy a new Tesla, to own a house in Seattle, the growing market for all of those who graduate with those degrees called engineering and technology, computers and mathematics, to have a system similar to slavery, with processes similar to picking cotton, and making sure the woman with a hijab has a home with a kitty cat and enough room around her, them, they, and their temple to worship their God, they say, makes more sense than that stupid, idiotic Jesus who went to the cross instead of going on a jihad and blowing up some buildings in New York City in 2001 on September 11th. Minimizing mathematical numbers and decimals and fractions and percentages to have what they call consciousness and a mystery and a secret and a gift provided by a universe unable to solve a duality they perpetuate and increase with the volume of their footsteps and their chatter and their voices and their whispers and their taps, taps, taps on a wall in an apartment, on an object floating in outer space. And they know they are not as crazy as that voice they hear now. They know all about psychology, and everyone just needs to follow everyone, do what everyone does when there's agreed upon rules and laws not set forth by the government and those stupid police officers they say need to be eliminated now. Except when those visual, mathematical neurons and those logical language synapses from a degree at Western Washington University a person earned instead of smoking some substance and swallowing some chemical and giving someone a blowjob to have safety and security, tenacity and time always at the forefront of their dominance, to not be afraid and emotional when their brain shuts off and the mind they made with their counselor and the self that they talk to in the hall in a building where people rent apartments, living alone instead of with some stranger that they make with some hallucination they decide as a choice instead of an option other than their way, their philosophy, their theory about who can do what and who can do what, when and where, who's going to what apartment, what time, when time, who rides the elevator and wastes the energy, and climate change is making their babies all bad. Eventually, there's X, there's Y, there's variables. There's bullies and anarchists. There's white men who claim they are so multicultural, they can hear God speak to them in their dreams. They can make a woman have an orgasm with a whisper of their voice. And they save everyone with their safety and security procedures they require for entry to the building where they serve their leader who gives them their free money and services to not be homeless. Now, the Central Intelligence Agency in the United States government, most would say, nobody serves in there. Those people are spooky, dooky, and kooky, crazy nuts. Anybody who says they're in the CIA probably dresses like a soldier and lies about their service to the country where they say they fought and killed for in Iraq and Afghanistan. Vietnam, they say, are the boundaries for what they need to not see people who aren't there and ghosts, and be afraid from what someone says about their cousins' aunts who are having sex together now. dy divided by dx equals 0.2xy. And then mathematics, along with differential equations and an introduction to an intelligence beyond your words, your thoughts, and your thinking, and your decision making involving your bank account, your economics of freedom for everyone. In other words, everybody's rich. Nobody needs to work. They just need to hallucinate all day and do those legal drugs. And then there's no boredom, and all of those emotions and those social parts of their psychology and the system they say has been completed and finished and will never be defeated by those Chinese they say are our friends. Now,